a lot of times when men are vulnerable with women, they make the mistake of seeing it as weakness.
Yes.
And then what happens is you lose his trust
Yes.
and he'll never be vulnerable with you again.
Yes.
There's three things that you get. I'm gonna give you the sauce here, ladies. All right.
Okay.
There's three things you have to do continually in a relationship, and you did a really good job with doing that. One, you have to forever be dropping your handkerchief.
Yes.
What that means is you're telling a man, this is good. Come, please.
Yes.
Okay? You
Yes.
don't just do that when you meet. You do
Yes.
that in a bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the house, in business, every day of your life. You're going to have to do that with your man. You're going to have
Mm-hmm.
to drop handkerchiefs,
Mm-hmm.
okay? To let him know things are good. Come on over.
Yes.
All right. The second thing is you found gaps. Every man, no matter how successful or unsuccessful he is, he has gaps.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he can't see those gaps. As you said before, you're the rear view mirrors.
Yeah.
Okay. You can look in your rear view and see what's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you can't see what's on the side of you, you can never change lanes.
Yes.
And so your woman is that. She's that ability for you to see what's going on the side of you. You got to find those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's really important, I'm not going to give them all the sauce,
Okay.
is you have to create peace for a man.
Mm.
Because a man is always driven towards, ambition, which is going to create some level of chaos.
Yes.
And as this chaos is being created, you're going to be the soft landing spot for him. So when he's that boy coming off the stage and being vulnerable, he needs to know that you can bring him that peace.
Yes.
And if you can bring him that peace and drop that handkerchief and find those gaps, that is just three ways that you can show up for a man. And you did that in just one instant.
Ah, very good observation. Good, very good observation, doctor.
Indeed, indeed. Now, so how do women become better at vetting men? Now, the reason why I'm asking you this is because there seems to be zero to little accountability on the actual experience that many women are having. When we're on tour, we constantly hear women saying, "There's no men to date here," or the men that I have dated,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't worth dating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so in life for me, it's so important to first look in the mirror and understand what is my level of accountability, because I'm a law of attraction person.
Yes.
If I'm getting what I'm getting, is because of what I'm putting out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I always see things. So if business isn't going well, I ask myself, how are you showing up?
Yeah.
How do you feel on the inside?
Mm-hmm.
And so, can you give us a little bit of, some tips on what women can do to better vet men so that they don't then have these horrible experiences, end up in these marriages that they're not supposed to be in, and then as a result of that, they're traumatized, and then they take that trauma into the next relationship.
Well, the number one thing women can do to be better at vetting, it's not a strategy. It's what they really don't want to do.
Got you.
Get connected to their femininity, their spirituality, their sensuality, and their wisdom. These four components, ladies, this is the secret sauce,
Yeah.
because these four things allows you to see and have insight very quickly. Like I can see through the BS pretty quick.
Yeah.
And if I just decide to play over there because I want to play, it ain't because I didn't know. I see it and just decided, okay, let me play with this a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm bored. That was the old version of me, y'all. That was the old version of me. But that's what I used to do. But it's like once you understand those four components, it's hard for a man to run game on you when you have those four components. Secondly, is once you get those four components, you got to know what your core needs are. One of the things I get asked all the time is, Miss April, what questions do you ask on a first date? I said, I ain't telling you.
Mm.
I said, I'm not telling you because these are my core things. I know what I need and who
Yes.
I am. So y'all go get these lists off of the internet and you asking these random questions, and they guys might be answering them correctly, but there's a unfulfillment that you have because you have not gotten to know you, so you'll know the proper questions to ask that are in alignment with what you want.
Got you.
And I believe if women really tapped into those four components and finding their core needs, and typically your core needs, your list of things typically isn't maybe about four or five things when you get in connection with those four other components. Well, your core needs typically aren't a lot.
Yo,
Your list of wants is a lot, but your core stuff, and how do you get to that core stuff? One way is to look at the things you did not get in the relationship previously and what things you used to complain about.
got you.
You'll start learning what your standards and your value is if you go back through your past and look at the things that really made you angry or made you felt like you weren't unwanted or didn't feel valued. Those things, that's how you start finding your value and your standards.
Got you. Got you. Because I always say this also. There are things that are negotiable and non-negotiable.
Yes.
And you need to know what your non-negotiables are.
Yes.
Your negotiables, you don't even worry about those. They're negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
But your non-negotiables, those are the things that you really need to be focused on because, say for instance, if in a relationship, sex is very important,
Mm-hmm.
and you meet a man and he has diabetes and he has problems with erectile dysfunction, then you know that that's going to be a problem.
But he a good man, Dr. Bobby.
Now I will say this as devil's advocate, a lot of women step over a lot of good men, to get after the men who is not going to be any good for them in the end anyway. And so what I always tell people is, again, non-negotiable is negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Is it non-negotiable for you to help him recover his health? If you say I can help this man recover his health, and if he's willing to do that,
Why not?
then why not?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that can change.
Yes.
You understand? Now, this man is on his deathbed, then there ain't nothing you could do for this man. You're not a doctor. You're not.
He can't. You can't
not
take
God.
He can't take none of your detox.
Well, he could do the detox if you know Dr. Bobby. But the point I'm trying to say is, if you have that nurturing in you to say,
Yes.
hey, I think I can help this man. His diet is very poor. He doesn't take care of himself. I love him enough at this point to say, let's do this together, and he's willing to do it. Let's take a try at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's really important to know what those non-negotiables are, because if you're not willing to do that, walk away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that a lot of women are holding out for this guy, this imaginary guy, 6 foot, 6 figure, and 6-pack, honey. I tell him all the time, y'all, women stay in my DMs. Asking me to hook them up with Bobby, right? And I'm like, you ain't, sis. I don't know. I don't know if you're ready for that. Ready for that because of their perception, oh my God, Miss April, he looks like, he listened to sound bowls and he put his feet in the grass and he be grounding. I'm like, he do that, but he do some other stuff too. so, and I believe women get caught up in this fantasy of what something looks like. And this, what happens is why they don't vet properly, because you like the aesthetic and you want it to be what you want it to be versus what it really is.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, girl, all right. I said, Bobby, don't play.
Yeah. It's like, an example I give my friends? I tell them, I was like, all right, so you like a man that can protect you, right? You like a man that got some hands on him just in case something happens.
Yeah.
Well, you got to understand, it took something for him to be able to get them hands on him.
Yes.
All right. So that's the kind of man you got. You got a warrior.
Yes.
Are you cool with having a warrior? That don't mean he gonna disrespect you, hit you, or anything like that. But like, the rope is short.
Yes.
So like, he's in protection mode. That means that you ain't gonna be able to be gyrating and naked on the internet. That's part of the protection.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So like, a lot of people don't understand what comes with what they're asking for.
Yes, they don't look at the other side. It's like, it's all of the warm and fuzzy stuff. But for everything that you want in a man, like you said, it took something for him to get that.
Yes, indeed.
So you got to be ready for what you're asking for, which is why it's imperative for women to, even if they are single, to have really solid masculine men in their life so they can know what that looks like. Even going out with you when we go out and eat and stuff or hang out, it's a look that you get. It's like, I already know, okay, yeah, he ain't he ain't playing. It's a look, and it's like, it's not that you're not the man that I know. I just know that look. And it's like, okay, yeah. I'm gonna just sit back, child. I'm gonna let him handle that. I ain't in that. But I don't, and I think sometimes when women are not around men that really function in all of their man,
Yeah.
it can be like, oh my God, that was too much. No,
He too extra.
he's too extra. It's like, no, the other parts that you like, it took this over here for him to be this way. I remember going out. I think I told you about the date I went on with the guy. And I got a little nervous. He's like 6'6", and he was just fine. All the women was looking at him in the restaurant when we walked in, right? But didn't know he was so intense. So when we get to the restaurant, the lady said, "Do you have a reservation?" He said, "No, do we need one?" It was like his whole face and everything was just like in her face. He
Yeah.
was just that guy. And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching his presence. He can do this face thing that he does, and it can be very intimidating to people. And so everybody was walking around. They was kind of scared of him a little bit.
Yeah.
But then what was funny was when we sat down at the table, he turned into a teddy bear. He texted me from across the table and said, "You're so sexy." I'm like, but he couldn't tell me that. But in front of all of these people, you rah-rah.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean by that, knowing that you got this part, but you going to deal with something over here
And
too.
you're his safe space.
Yes.
Yeah. Are women prepared for a man who's walking in his divine masculinity, evolved and emotionally intelligent?
No,
Why do you say that?
because women are connected to their femininity, their spirituality, their sensuality, and their wisdom.
Yeah.
If you're not connected to those things and you don't have men around you all the time on a regular basis that walk in that same energy that you say you want in a man, how can you receive it?
Yeah.
You're not functioning in it. You're not practicing in it. You're not operating in the divine feminine so much that it's become your lifestyle. So here's the thing. When you walk in that girl energy, you crave masculine leadership.
Yeah.
You need it. It's not like you view it as you being controlled. No. When you really operate in your divine feminine, you're very whimsical. I tell you all the time, I'm Peter Pan. No, I tell you, I'm the fairy. I'm a little butterfly. I'm just the lady that I have to be reeled in.
Yeah.
Be like, what you doing today? Da, da, da. You be like, what you doing? Oh, I'm just going over here. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. We can't be in that energy all the time.
Yeah.
So true femininity craves masculine containment.
And vice versa.